Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. You are watching Books for Us. I hope you guys are all safe and sound. And if you're new to my channel, I hope you enjoy this video. And please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. I'm here today to do a book review. Again. Today's video is about a book that I read twice now. The first was back in 2016 and the second was only early this year. Watching from an interview, the author of this book that I'm about to show you revealed that while on a train, a man sitting across him was having a conversation over the phone, with someone. When they suddenly entered a tunnel, the stranger got upset as he lost the signal and his phone accidentally fell off the floor too. That gave him an idea about this electric magnetic thingy that makes technology work. Like thousands of SMS, emails, calls are being done every day. Exchanges of these things all over the world, especially the internet. It's all over us. It's just that it's invisible to our eyes, but it's all there. And that is how he got the idea of this book, and also for its title, and more to that later. This book is published in 2014 and eventually it won the 2015 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction and Literature. It is historical fiction, it's a literary novel. This is told in a third-person omniscient narrator. It's set in Germany and France during the World War II, and that book is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. Wala, sana yun? Anyari, walang ilaw. Joke lang. So what is the story about? We have two storylines that we'll follow in this book. The first one is in France. We have a girl named Marie-Laure who lives with her father, who works in Paris Museum of Natural History as a master locksmith, where he is responsible for its thousands of locks. And when she is 6, Marie-Laure lost her sense of sight. She goes blind eventually, and her father builds a perfect miniature of their neighborhood so she can memorize it by touch and to navigate her way home. When she is 12, the Nazis invaded Paris, and so Marie-Laure and her father have to flee to the walled city of Saint-Malo. This place, it's an island, it's a walled city in the southern part of France. In this place, Marie-Laure's reclusive great uncle lives in a tall house by the sea. So that's the place they're going to stay in. And the second storyline would be set in Germany. We have an orphan boy named Werner Wenig who takes care of his younger sister. They're both orphans now. They live in an orphanage, and Werner works in a coal mine, which he doesn't like. And one day, he and his sister found a broken radio. They get fascinated by it, and Werner is able to fix it to the delight of his sister. These two kids are poor, they live in an orphanage, and the only entertainment they can have is finding this radio that's broken. And later on, a Nazi officer discovered Werner having this talent in fixing things, such as radios, and he's then sent to a Hitler Youth Academy, and there he became an expert at building and fixing these crucial instruments that will be used in the war. He's then sent for a special assignment to track the resistance using these gadgets that's now he's expert at. So Marie-Laure's and Werner's storylines will be told alternatively in this book until ultimately their path collides, as World War II is terrifyingly happening. So what are your least favorite parts of the book? There are two things I didn't like in this book. One, friend of Werner Wenig, who is deemed weak, got bullied, and something terrible was done to this character that annoyed me. You'll know that this person is really kind and all, but for some reason, he got bullied in school because some kids are cruel, and they think that they are so cool. Also, something happens to some minor characters involving women, 3 women actually, and I hate that part. I cared for these characters, that I want to be there, and do something and save them, but it's that cruel to be in that period of World War II. I didn't like those two things. It was all powerful scenarios in the book, but I didn't like them. I don't know, but I know this is historical fiction involving war. It's brutal and a devastating situation to be in. What did you like about the book? I like the writing style, I like the storytelling, they're all brilliant. This book has short chapters, like for this one, just chapter here. So you see, sometimes one chapter will just be in one page. So yeah, I can say it is of minimalist style, and the chapters are incredibly short but a landmine of insights. It catches your full attention right away that you need to reread the chapter before heading to the next one, because you need time in savoring it to fully taste the words, and I like it. It makes you think, really, because the way the sentences and narrative in every chapter is just awesomely done. And though the storytelling is a bit confusing sometimes, It has elements of present, flashbacks, fast forward, and present again, you know, somewhat non-linear narrative, and that makes you glued more to the page and fully concentrate. It's all worth it because the plot is spellbinding, and it's just for me. It adds to the excitement, really. The book has a way of putting cliffhangers in every chapter, and that it adds some suspense, so I liked it. The writing here is just quality, you know. You won't complain, really. This book was painstakingly researched, and it took Anthony Doerr 10 years to write and publish this brilliant novel, so it's all worth it. You may also say it's a bit boring, but because of its slow pace. This is not a thriller, it's a literary novel, kind of book that you need to take a bite, savor it, and chew it slowly before you swallow and get to the next bite. It would take you maybe a week to really finish this book. I'm not complaining there, even though it has a slow pace. 10 years of writing a book for me is already a feat, and so I don't think reading this book for a few days that needs my concentration really would hurt compared to the 10 years the writer has to spend creating this masterpiece. So yeah, I also like the element of sort of magical realism in this book. Story in this book involves a gemstone, and that it's called Sea of Flames. And the diamond is as big as the size of a chicken egg, I think, as was described in the book. It goes back from centuries before and was passed on to different hands according to its history. And it's now being kept in a museum where Marie-Laur's father actually works. According to some urban legend, whoever possesses this gem gets all the luck in the world, and it would bring riches, all good things, long life, able to escape death if there's such, to the person who owns or holds this gem. But bad luck and all miseries to those people close to that person who possesses it. So that's the catch. And so that idea, me as a reader, really, I got hooked immediately. I want to know about this gem right away, where it was mentioned in the beginning of the book. Where did it come from, really? And who possesses this gem now? I got excited finding out that gemstone. And yeah, it's just, for me, that part is magical in this book. It adds to its, mystery, and, it adds to my excitement. And of course, it was mentioned in the book that many people are looking for the gemstone throughout history, and we have a villain here that will do everything in his power to get hold of this gemstone. So watch out for that. I also like the element of dark and light, the contrasts of our two main characters, who happens to be a boy and a girl. Somehow both are flawed physically, to the standards of this world. Like, the boy is a small kid, small for his height, but incredibly talented and intelligent. And the girl is blind, she has no sense of sight, but incredibly loving, caring, brave, and pure. Her name is Marie-Laure Leblanc. In French, it's Marie-Laure Leblanc. Basing from her last name, it's Leblanc. It's colorless. It gives an illusion to her being blind. But being blind, we thought that what you see is all darkness. We got it all wrong when you read this book. It's actually light that they see. Based on my interpretation of this book, I admire the writer's brilliance there. How he made the contrasts there, Basically, this book has themes of darkness and light, evil and good, of being a privileged and of being poor, of peace and chaos, of silence and noise. The writer is very particular of the details of his art. If you pay attention, it's really like a painting, and it's somewhat a puzzle that the author really took his time to assemble each piece until you as a reader gets to the final piece and the big picture is revealed to you. That's how I saw it after reading the book. He has created compelling characters and then an incredible story that you'll never forget. I'm in awe of this book. It's my first time reading a book that has a main protagonist who has no sense of sight. For a writer to put that in the pages of a book is a difficult task. How can you make a reader who uses the sense of sight to read a book and make that reader connect with our main protagonist who has none of it? For me, it's brilliant, really. If you're the writer, how would you describe the things that are happening in the book to put it in writing, what Marie-Laure is experiencing throughout the book in her daily life that makes the reader care for the character? For me, the writer has succeeded in that part because it's just brilliant. It made me care for Marie-Laure. That was what I was thinking before reading this book, after reading the blurb, And when I was already reading the book, I get so amazed how it was executed by Anthony Doerr. You as a reader really have to see things here. It's just pure brilliance, really. Such an incredible writer. He has a knack with words. The chapters here are really a work of art. It's so poetic. I really like it. It's full of metaphors. the wisdom, the insights, which I really like, because it makes me think and imagine things as a reader, to reflect as well. Sometimes he gives straight to the point, real talk sentences in this book. I enjoy the book. It's just full of beautiful passages that I like. And if you haven't read this book yet, it's time you pick this up. I'm 100% sure this book will have a movie adaptation soon, if not sooner. And before that happens, might as well be the first to know the story. And this is one of the best books that I've read, not knowing the story from a film adaptation beforehand. That's a good thing for me. I mean, other books that I liked, that I happened to watch the film adaptations first, would be The Book Thief, The Reader, that I really like, that are really nice of a movie, that I regret now watching the adaptations before reading the books first, actually. So if you don't want that to happen, read this book now before a movie comes out. And just for the brilliance of this book, you should give this a try. It's worth it. Period. I also like the landscape. It's set in France, in an isolated island called Saint-Malo. It's full of incredible structures. If you Google it, there's something intriguing about this place that makes me, want to go there and travel right away. It's definitely going to be majestic and cinematic if this becomes a movie. My mind was already wondering, happily imagining, the place, based on how Anthony Doerr described it. It also has a beach, of course. You'll hear the ocean, the seabirds. It's a nice place to live in the present when you Google the place. But you know what? During the war, it was said to have been almost destroyed because of bombings everywhere. It was rebuilt completely after World War II. The book has a beautiful writing, compelling characters, magical realism elements. It's full of bits and pieces of science. And it has a fair share of annoying villains as well, some bad guys and good guys too. It has likable characters that you'll eventually care for. I also like the part where the gemstone has to be sent away and they made 7 pieces of it. One is the real one and the rest are fakes. It has to be a decoy, That part made me reminisce of J.K. Rowling's Deathly Hallows, the 7th book in Harry Potter series, where Harry Potter has to be split in 7 people to escape Voldemort, and one is real and the rest are fakes too. And it gave me this excitement. Yeah, I liked how Anthony Doerr has come up with that idea there. Somewhat a magical element to put in the story, if I may say. I like that part. And so there you have it, guys. Thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again in my next video. If you want to share your thoughts about this book, feel free to do so. Let's have a chat in the comment section down below. And I'm your Pinoy BookTuber. Basa-basa din pag may time. Stay safe. Bye for now.